hot off the presses from Sound on Sound. A Concert Vid 34 exclusive video. Also on YouTube, YouTube Concert Vid 34. Watch the full video there too. Turn them speakers up.
Oh, brother of mine, please don't forget me if I go. Bartender, please fill my glass for me. Where the wine you gave Jesus that sets him free after 3 days in the ground. Oh, and if I die before my time, oh, sweet sister of mine, please don't regret me if I die. Bartender, please fill my glass for me. Where the wine you gave Jesus that sets him free after 3 days in the ground. Bartender, please, yeah, fill my glass for me. Where the wine you gave Jesus that sets him free after 3 days in the ground. In the ground, you watch him die. Should steal my soul away. Oh, dear mother of mine, please redirect me if this goes. Bartender, you see, this wine that's drinking me came from the vine that strung Judas from the devil's trees, deep, deep in the ground. Bartender, you see, this wine that's drinking me came from the vine that strung Judas from the devil's trees, roots deep, deep in the ground, in the ground. You watch me die. Come on, bartender, bartender, please, bartender, please, oh,
Hey yo, it's your boy. It's your boy ConcertViz34. Thank you guys for joining tonight. Listen, I ain't gonna let a listen. It's 1:53 a.m. on the East Coast. I told y'all be patient. Wait on it. It's coming. Unlike the new Dave Matthews Band album, it's coming soon. And I appreciate all of you guys for waiting on the world to change and waiting for me to get home. It was wild out there tonight. We had a little bit of thunderstorms, and it ended early, but still it made everything wet, and it made everything tough to get out. And then I had to get back to the meetup spot where the crew linked up, and then I had to get back to the crib. What a day! What a day! Oh, by the way, before all that today, ran a 5K ran a 5K for an awesome cause. Shout out to my boy Jared. I ran a 5K here in Connecticut that raises money to help the mental health of first responders and police officers. I would not miss it for the world. That's why I did the 5K before driving all the way from Harford County down to Fairfield County to Sound on Sound. So you'll see a tweet on that later. But I think it's very important to support law enforcement in their mental health. When their mental health is right, they are less likely to do things to hurt us and do things to help us and to heal from the trauma they go through, whether they are police officers, firefighters, EMTs, etc. So shout out to my boy Jared, who has a great cause. He is running. He does these different events, both this specific fundraiser and other runs across the country, raising money for mental health and also suicide awareness. His father took his life. I believe that was in 2013, 1 year before he was going to retire from the police department he was in here in Connecticut. Anyway, I digress. Y'all here for Dave and Tim. Y'all here for Sound on Sound. I survived Sound on Sound, okay? I survived it. They made improvements. We'll talk more about that later. First, we want to react to this set list, and then we'll get to the poster, and then we'll get to the overall vibe. Oh, let me send this to the almanac as well. Let me send this to the almanac. I'm gonna tweet them right now. Get them. Where's the DMB almanac? DMB almanac. We gotta get this posted to them. Shout out to everything they do. Let me get them the poster. I can get song times from my voice memos tomorrow. Shot if need be. Oh, darling. So yeah, just want to get some things over to DMB Almanac for timing. So this set, let's pull it up right here. So Dave went on around 9:05. Okay, due to the storms, it played to about 10:05. That's about correct. Let me check my It was a little bit of a shock because the the National were playing on one stage, and you guys will see a full video that I will show breaking down this whole day in more detail. This was at 9:07. Yeah, so at 9:07, my phone 9:07 Eastern says like that's when I started recording. The band started getting on. So that 9:05 is about right. Um, what will I say about this? So Greg out there now he's a very short drive. Well, a short drive. He takes a drive down the shoreline. It still is a little bit of no. Actually, no. I forgot you have to go through New Haven. Yeah, so he has a little bit of a drive, but he has easy access to this festival. You get on 95, and you drive from one part of Connecticut to the other. But it says glad I didn't make the drive to the other side of the state for either day. I would have been fuming if I only got a third of a Dave and Tim set. If you missed this set, if you went home, if you were frustrated from night one, I empathize with you. We'll talk about that in a moment, what I think Sound on Sound should do. You did not miss much if Dave and Tim was the reason you did night one. I mean, this night two. Okay. And for those of you who went night one or you just had Sunday only, if you did not go, there was only 9 songs. Now, I did not walk away from this set list as upset as I think I would have been if I did not have great company and great friends. Many times, these shows, some of you guys who are OGs, the reason you still go is just to see your friends, right? You got wives, you got husbands, um, you have kids. And sometimes the only way to really see everyone is, hey, let's meet at this concert and then we'll go back to our lives. Because it's hard to schedule things, it's hard to plan things. My non-DMB friends, it is so hard to like meet up with them. They're all a lot of them are teachers too. Like I can't say, hey, let's all go to DMB because they're not all DMB fans. Sometimes it's a John Mayer show, sometimes it's Dead and Company. But it is tough to meet up with people. And I will say that I'm speaking from a perspective of, oh, it's 2 hours. Oh, it is 2 hours for Greg. I forgot. I forget that when you're on, yeah, because you're Eastern. I forget. That's my fault. Because I always say, oh, 95. Yeah, you're still a drive, and you're still a little ways from um you're still a little ways from. I know people on the shoreline, and I forget they're a little closer to New Haven. So yeah, 2 hours still a drive. There was bad weather, Michael. There was thunder. So listen, this set right before So Damn Lucky, Dave said, hey, they're gonna let us play until they see the lightning or they see some sort of concern and they need to clear the venue. So they play So Damn Lucky, and I start seeing the lightning. I start seeing people clear at the end of this show. I start seeing people clear out. And I'm like, oh, I thought people were just trying to beat the traffic. And I'm like, no, no, no. I see some fire dancers. They dancing out of here. Okay. I see some fire dancer shirts. They dancing out of here. So I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There was lightning bolts jumping through, dancing through. Now, I will say this. Now, lightning can strike from miles and miles away. The lightning was striking, and a lot of times when things are out in the ocean, they could be further. That lightning was jumping. No, no, no Destiny's Child. But the strikes were not close. Like you know how you hear the crack of the lightning. It was like very far away. It was more than 10 seconds before you heard that crack. And some of them you didn't even hear the crack at all. So we were very fortunate to get out of there and not really have lightning that really hit something in the area. And it was a mess. It was just a mess. It like started raining. People were trying to leave, and yeah, like they had to end it abruptly. Now this set was supposed to be from 9:20 to 10:55. So you were going to have a lot more DMB than just 9:05 to 10:05. Everyone else got an hour during this weekend or this day. Pretty much everyone got an hour or so. But Dave was going to get that hour in a half almost ish. So it was, listen, I see how you're saying now you got a third of a DMB set. I wasn't even thinking about that at this show. I did want to, like, once the rain came and the show's over, I wanted to get home. But at the physical show, again, me being just happy to see so many great people and chill with them, it was nice. Okay. And we'll talk about the experience I had in just a moment. Now, the set list, Bartender opens up. I love Bartender. What was interesting about this set, a set list has not been posted to my knowledge yet. Now, I have not been on social media that much since I've gotten back to the crib, but I do not see a set list. Let me just refresh this. Somebody on Ants, someone next to them, a girl got a set list. I hope they posted to. I still don't see a set list. I hope someone will post it. I would love to see a set list. Um, the bartender opens up, and I love it. Powerful, intense. Save Me has the can't stop interpolation like last night. It was cool, but at this point, I will say again, I'm happy to be there, but it's like, wait, we're getting a lot of the same songs from last night. We're getting Save Me, we're getting Stay or Leave, we're getting Don't Drink the Water, we're getting Crush. Did they play When the World Ends last night? Let me check. We're getting a lot of the same songs from last night. Like, I understand there's gonna be repeats, but dang, Dave, right? Oh, they didn't play When the World Ends. I would have loved to see also if the Ocean and the Butterfly was on the set list. Lie in Our Graves was played last night. So Damn Lucky was played last night. That's two. Crush was played last night. That's three. Don't Drink the Water. That's four. And Stay Lee wasn't played last night. I think I thought it was going to be played. So Damn Lucky, Lie in Our Graves, Crush, Don't Drink the Water, and Save Me. Those are five songs that were played from last night. Five were played from last night. But these, I will say though, after Save Me, Stay or Leave was dope. And the first and second verses were inverted. I'm gonna get the audio over to the almanac, like I said. So I think, they were listening too. I forgot they were listening to it. But I'm gonna get them the set times and all that. I mean, the song times. Um, let me play you guys, and let me know if you guys can hear this. And Hines is saying boring. Yeah. I mean, the thing is though, with Dave and Tim, right? Dave and Tim just sound great. But let's get to Stay or Leave before we continue on. So Stay or Leave. Let me get to my voice memos. So you're gonna hear this.
So I have so many friends here, and so many of them are talented, and so many of them were on the stage today. It was what a treat it was today to be here. I hope that you all feel exactly the same way. And thank you for sticking around for a little bit.
So listen to this because you're gonna hear the verses flip. So yeah, I heard that. But that's not how the song goes. Like, yeah, no, it doesn't. That was someone by me there. So yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. So that was on Stay or Leave. You guys want to hear Don't Drink the Water. Yeah. So yeah, they flipped them, but Dave did them. He did the first verse and then he did the second verse, and then he went to the bridge and all that. So it was yeah, that's kind of, you guys heard me. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it. So it was flipped and reversed it. Was it worth it just to work it, Dave? Let us know. Shout out to Missy Elliott, fellow Virginian artist, right? From roots from Virginia. Um, so yeah, stay or leave flipped. Don't drink the water sounded like a campfire. Save me is better full band. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. It has a lot more of a fuller feel. Don't drink the water is better, Dave and Tim. Just by far, campfire feeling of it. I love it. Dave did mention something about shout out to the indigenous people of this land. This year land is your land interpolation got some chairs. Listen, Jen, if you got work in 5, just go to sleep. Go to sleep. All right. Hit the like button and go to sleep, Jen. Okay. But seriously, get some. Yeah, if you need, you can watch the replay. Now, I will say, let me stop here at don't drink the water. And let me play satellite. I will play the beginning. Now, you can hear my voice because I was singing. I was recording this for the times for the almanac, just in case there's no taper or they can't pull the one of the streams on Couch Tour. But here was my frustration about this. Greg says this perfectly. Dave and Tim hits the spot, but best to see not at a festival, but a smaller indoor venue. I ran into problems, and this is why. I did not camp out at the Dave and Tim stage a couple of acts before. I didn't. Because I was enjoying I was trying to get my money's worth. I saw my first Gary Clark Jr. performance ever. I saw Brandy Carlisle at a different stage of her career where she's really been elevated and won awards and been really evolved. And I say evolved because she has actually gotten better. DMB has not evolved since Leroy Moore. They've have adjusted. Okay, but I wanted to check her out. I wanted to check out the Head and the Heart, but this is earlier in the day because again I saw them. There's a lot of DMB openers. Previous openers. The Roots were there. Gary Clark Jr. Who else? Brandy Carlisle and the Head and the Heart. They all had opened up for Dave. And in 2013, my second tour year, I went to 2 Head and the Heart openers for Hartford, 2 of the best shows I've ever seen. They opened up. And then the next show I went to, they had a week off and they did a Saturday, Sunday in Mansfield. I went to the first Mansfield show because Sunday was Father's Day. And Brandy Carlisle opened up those 2 shows as well. So she's been an opener, right? So you had a bunch of former Dave Matthews Band openers, right? So anyway, I say all that to say that by the time Dave and Tim got on, now I left the national set. I wanted to get care of them for a little bit because I may not ever it may be a while before I see the national. I mean they sound great. After that, I try to find a spot, and there's not a lot of spot to really be. You had to really be just like any festival. Many of you guys go to more festivals than me. You had to camp out front and center, or really get your way in there like an hour or 2 before Dave and Tim come on. And I said I paid too much for this just to be Dave and Tim. So saying that, I was in the back of the venue and people were talking. Let me play. It got annoying. It really got annoying. So there was supposed to be more. The storm stopped it. The storm, it was lightning. It's not it's lightning. Just like other shows have been cut, right? Obviously different. They were cut. Let's see if we can get satellite. Okay, so it's gonna be the next one. Okay. So just listen to this commentary. So many friends here, and so many of them are talented, and so many. Oops. Clear leave, don't drink the water. Oh, it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be this one. When I tell you this is what I had, let me hear what this is what I had to deal with. This is why you shut up when the band's talk playing. You listen to this, folks. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. That was your birthday. I think this is Bruh. We did it for real. This is what I had to deal with during Satellite. And listen, I don't like the full band version of Satellite, but I don't mind Dave and Tim playing it because you can hear Dave's guitar. I couldn't hear it because they were talking. Listen to this. Feels weird cracking open the water. In my eyes, like a diamond in the sky. How I wonder, satellite, shine from the moon, and the world you're keeping time for the mother station. One
What are you doing? What are you doing?
This is what I had to deal with during Satellite. And these were Dave, at least this one dude was a Dave fan, and this dude was brushing up against me. And listen, I didn't want to start, like I didn't want to get kicked out, right? They seemed like they was in their like late 20s or mid to late 20s. That is what I had to deal with during Satellite. No, 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 no. This is wrong too. It doesn't need Carter. The best part about Satellite is Dave's parts. And you add a piano in and it even makes it better. This is such a beautiful, intricate song, right? I know people don't like it, but it's because some of Tim parts on electric mess it up. And even this, like this little slide, that is beautiful. And I guess you could say the lyrics ruin it. But that song and what Dave is doing, the percussiveness of it. Like, guys, you guys realize if Satellite was not a good song musically, this band wouldn't be where it is. There's a reason why that song is still played. He's dancing around the guitar fretboard. It's a beautiful song. That's all I'll say. I believe the best way to play it is with piano and guitar being the highlights. Live Tracks 31 is the blueprint for that. But that's what I had to deal with. So that is the downside of this Dave and Tim set. And those were Dave fans. But some of those fans are going to be on the lawn, right? Or they won't even go to a Dave and Tim show if it's not a festival, right? Because when I went to Dave and Tim at SPAC, I didn't have those problems. Now, maybe some people did. I know that tour in 2017, there were some venues where people wouldn't stop talking. But that is the thing about a GA festival. But again, I would rather have Dave and Tim than the full band. And I know Hines, I think you said something about, well, after this tour, this is what they play. It would be even worse if this was the full band because you would have to deal with Don't Drink the Water full band, which is not as good as this. Crush. Let me play you some of Crush. I know some of you guys saw this live. Let me play you some of Crush. Okay? Oh, that's when the world ends. Tim Reynolds went off on Crush. He did this little riff, and then he hit that harmonic. I think that's a third fret harmonic. That's that E string on the third fret. Let's hold on. There it is. Let me see if I can do that. Yo, that thing was smooth. Ooh, I was like, it's right here. This is the harmonic right here. That's that is the B string on the third fret. So he said, da 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 da. Let's see if we can rewind that. Ooh, that thing, yo, that is fine. That is, yo. He was like, oh, I can't even. I have to look at that. But he hit this one. Oh, here it is. That's what Tim hit that, bro. But it was so like out of nowhere. That's a hard riff to do it like that spontaneous. To get that tap, because it's all about how you tap that thing. All right. Oh, not like that. No, let me be careful. This is a kid show. And Dave actually did say that he was cursing during one of the monologues. Like, and there was a kid in front of me. He may have been like 11, 12, maybe 9, 10. I'm not. It was dark, but he was like, "I'm sorry, it's a kid show." So it was like, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna look at that later. But that thing was smooth on Crush. Tim tore up Crush, and you guys saw that last night too. If you watch Farming, yes, you could look at this, and it could have been more cookie cutter. I think Stay or Leave being in there is special. Now When the World Ends, and When the World Ends sounds better acoustically, maybe because we don't get it as much. Lion Our Graves with the reprise, and then So Damn Lucky. That Lion Our Graves was awesome though. The Crush and Lion Our Graves, those things were dope. Bartender was great too, but Tim just and I'll say this. Nah, and listen, Hines, that's your opinion. I disagree, and this is probably because you don't. Yeah, we don't have to argue about that. But for me, the musicality of Dave and Tim, the skill set of Dave and Tim is better. And if the full band played this set, and they wouldn't be. That's the other thing too. If the full band had an hour, this set would not be this long. It'd probably be like about 6 songs, especially with how long Lion Our Graves and Crush are. Right? They would have only gotten through a couple of these songs. That bartender would have been 10 minutes. You know, Don't Drink the Water would have been about double the time it is. So I just love what Dave and Tim are doing. I love what Tim is doing, and just some of the skills and the spontaneous runs that he did, like on that Crush. Some of the soloing on that is just amazing. So yeah, this is just a great time. Even though, again, I say this: if you were there, it was entertaining. If you were not there, and some people who were there may have been a little disappointed because, again, we waited all day and night and we got 9 songs. The whole thing about this set was, oh, this is going to be a Dave and Tim spot, not like Farm Aid. Farm Aid was about 45 minutes or so. We're going to get something a little better. And we only got maybe what? Farm Aid had 8 songs. This has 9 songs. And we didn't get the Ocean and the But. I would have loved, even though they played it at Farm Aid, I would have loved Ocean and the Butterfly. Now, who knows? That probably was on the set. But I personally was like, hey, I live nearby. And I think too, if you traveled, maybe you're a little upset. But festival shows, your decision to go to a festival show should be based on proximity, meaning you're very close to it, within an hour or two of the venue. I would even say like just an hour and a half, because I was about, that's about the range I'm in. It's an hour and a half from the venue. So, but and I know the festival was a disaster. We'll get to that in a moment. But your festival decision should really be on if there's other bands you really like or you really want to check out. That's why you go to a festival. Dave and Tim and the Dave Matthews Band aren't necessarily the premier festival acts. And some of the acts I saw today, they're made for the festival stage. And we'll get to that here in a minute. Well, actually, but yeah, I mean, again, it is what it is. Better than the whole thing being canceled. And I can listen to Dave and Tim all day. Some people don't like it, and that's fine. Don't go. By the way, Heinz, don't go. I know you don't go to shows, right? If they're boring, hey, more tickets for me, right? So that is the set. Let's look at the poster. Your boy had a picture of the poster. This is my poster. What was nice about this too was the fact that the poster, I got in at about 2:30 and the gates open around 12:30. You could get a poster fairly easy. The run was about 8. Let me check the run. It was 800 something. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check the run. All right. Here's the poster in person. If you want to check it out. It's got to flatten out a little bit. There you go. The run is, I'm going to let this breathe, 575. The run, it's a run of 575. So that is not a lot. But again, a lot of Dave and Tim fans were frustrated. Some didn't even come. I don't blame them. I didn't go night one. Oh, excuse me. So, but I love this poster. So here's what I like about this poster. Let me see. Let me get some more information on the poster. Was it a methane? And sound on sound. Thank you, Bridgeport. You look amazing. Oh, listen, they're not gonna do anything negative. Listen, they gonna do what they do. They gonna try to do what they can do to spin this. Dang, someone saw Dave Tiffany. Shout out to Tiffany. She met Dave and Rab. Maybe she was working backstage and tried to pull up, but shout out to her. On the DMV family. Um, let's see, DMB poster collector. Shout out to them. Let's see. Was it methane? Was it methane? I don't see the Methane Studios logo. But oh, you're saying it's like methane born. Who did the poster? Oh, it's on the warehouse. Did it sell out? The poster sold out in the warehouse. Well, let's see if we can. What? I feel like if anyone knows who did the poster, I can't see. Who's the poster artist? Let me see if I can find this. I feel like. Let me see if I can do most recent. I feel like usually they have. Okay, here we go. 4 hours ago, 5 hours, six, six, 8. I don't know why I don't see it. If anyone knows, put it in the comment. Oh, it is methanes. It doesn't have that methane print though. But here's what I like about this print, and I know some of these can be pretty generic. First of all, it has nature. Okay, there is actually there's some islands off Connecticut. Sheffield Island Lighthouse. Let's show you this. This is a lighthouse. Now I know this isn't a lighthouse. This is a regular house, right? But I just like how this poster. First of all, it feels Bridgeporty, right? There's a part of Bridgeport called Black Rock, and this house is on a black rock. It has the little Dave Matthews Tim Reynolds, which they've done before, the little sign thing. I think Boston had one of these. And it's got this old house, and it really feels like naturey. You got the sky, you got the stars, all this stuff. This is something that I just think it doesn't look weird, doesn't look whack. I can put it on my wall and I think people will look at it. That's why I'm letting it breathe. So I thought this was a good poster. It was not great, but it's a good poster. And I think just because I'm in Connecticut, this is a hey, this is the Sound on Sound poster, Bridgeport, Connecticut. They probably won't play in Bridgeport again, Dave and Tim, for the foreseeable future. I think this, they check this box off for Bridgeport, and Dave and Tim tends to go to other venues outside of Mexico. They tend to rotate. So, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, I thought the poster was pretty cool. And I picked it up, and it was nice that there wasn't a lot of stress, and I like that. Like as you guys said, I like that a low run, and I thought this was kind of an influence here. You guys can look at some of these pictures. Um, Norwalk, Sheffield Island. All right, but this is a known structure. I've seen this on the news. There it is. That's Sheffield Island right there. It's right on a little island. Yeah, the lighthouse. So I know it's a different type of it's brick versus the wood, but I thought it was cool. There's a coincidence there. Okay, so sound on sound. I will have a full video on that, but I just want to give you guys a brief thing on this. So last night was a disaster. The food lines, the food lines and drink lines were awesome tonight. They had plenty of options, in my opinion, from fried dough to pizza to various cuisines across the world to grilled stuff. The food trucks were great. They had in the back by the porta potties on one side, they had a TV screen that was playing football games here and there. It would go back to the festival. No matter what was on the TV, the festival audio was playing in that back from there. They did a great job on the food. There were no issues with food. Now, the walkways as well were better. What people explained to me who went last night, I walked through and I had them talk me through what I'm going through as far as walking across these little walkways across the venue to see the different stages. Like, all right, that was not here. They spray painted an area to make a walkway and say, nope, no one can sit here. It's a walkway. They had walkways, east to west walkway at the top of the hill. At the back, and they had one kind of in the middle, and they had one like a north south, a couple north south ones to get to each one. It felt more like the festivals that I see on streams like the Lollapaloozas. They were much more organized. You can only have chairs past a certain point. I think yesterday they didn't have that, so they did improve the walkways and the space. There was definitely less people there. That's where the compliments really end. Now the music both nights. Last night I heard the music was great. Some sound issues at the beginning, but if you were at the stage, the sound was great. But that's where the compliments end. One of the things you'll see when I have my video come out that was frustrating, the idea of sound on sound is, hey, there's two stages and the music never stops. Literally. No Grateful Dead. But the problem is, even today, they said they were going to fix it. If you were at one stage and you wanted to go to the others and you wanted to hear music from the other stage, even if you were camping out at one stage, the music did not travel well. Now the louder acts like Gary Clark Jr., I did a couple walkarounds during the sets. Like I stayed for like the first 30, 45 minutes of Gary Clark Jr.'s set at his stage, dead center. I was moved up as close as I could be. But then I started walking around at the 45-minute mark to the other stage, and the sound was a little better because Gary Clark is just louder than the Head and the Heart. The Head and the Heart did a great job too. I was close for their set. They're a great band. Also, by the way, there were a lot of fiddles and violins and violas. The Head and the Heart had a fiddle player. Brandy Carlisle had fiddles, couple fiddles and couple of violas, I believe it was, or cellos. I think they were cellos. Could be, yeah, I think those are cellos. Cellos, not cellos, cellos, right? So they had a great inclusion of strings. It was diverse guests, black, white, male, female. Like I thought everyone's bands were very diverse. Which, listen, that's not. I think you need to have a good band, but it is nice to show representation, as we've seen with Dave this year, with the full band having black women come on stage. Yes, black women play guitar, black women play saxophone. It was great to see that, and have women in general that and play the fiddle, right? And you have white dudes like Derek Trucks and Eric Krasno. I think diversity is cool. You get different sounds and licks and tastes and different things like that when you have diverse guests. So I will say that it would have been cool to see some of them, right? You have that violin on stage. Hey, bring them with Dave and Tim. But I believe that because of the thunderstorms, any potential guest spots were canceled because of that. They did the cookie cutter stuff and they got out of there, right? To plan a guest spot and there's severe weather that morning, even last night, there was reports of that severe weather was going to be there, and it came. The lightning struck. Thankfully, there wasn't any hail or it was windy though because you're by the Long Island Sound, body of water between Connecticut and Long Island, New York. So it was windy, and you guys like the recording I have of this stuff. You can hear it. But the sound. If you had to choose one stage or the other, that was not good. The other thing was the reason why today was so much better is because a bunch of people went home. Essentially, they really hustled people into buying 2 day passes and got them so stressed out day one, they never returned day two. That's not cool to me. That is not cool to me. And I really think that they need to provide some sort of refund for people, especially if they didn't scan in. Like if someone didn't scan in their 2 day pass, there should be a process for them to request a 50% refund or a 30% or 40%. Do something. If they did scan and they were a little upset or frustrated, they still should get something. This was in many ways a con job because they sold. I think they sold around 60,000. I know there's been various reports, but they've sold between 40 and 60,000 bracelets. Now, every festival sells a lot of bracelets, assuming people aren't going to go every day. So I bought I had a Sunday only GA wristband. So you could have, let's just say each day you want 40,000 people, right? You could have 10,000 people who buy a Saturday only and 10,000 people that buy a Sunday only, and that's 20,000 wristbands. So that can happen. But I believe there needs to be retribution for what happened. Just like in Kentucky, right, last year, they gave free waters up. They didn't do that today. Nobody, I didn't see no free waters. I think there were some things you can get a free drink, but I don't know. I think you had to buy something. They should have been giving out free waters to people. Okay. And someone mentioned that, and Craig, I saw you were on earlier. Railbird. I think, yeah, Railbird, they gave out free waters because the first day it was extremely hot and they should have been prepared. But this was worse than Railbird. This was definitely worse than Railbird. Railbird ran out of water and food, but like the thing was, there was no space to move. The area was way too small for the people they sold. And I think they knew that and they tried to take the risk and tried to bath. This festival seems to me that they were trying to make a profit. They were trying to make a profit and con people into being so frustrated, or con people into only going to one night. And again, if the other thing too was allegedly they were selling wristbands Sunday morning as well for Sunday after there was an overcrowded issue on Saturday. If that is true, I cannot. I need to look more into that. But someone did post that as feedback to the festival on Facebook. If that's true, that's not cool. Why are you selling more wristbands? I understand. There's always people last minute, but they can get a wristband from someone on cash or trade, or just literally giving it to them because they out of there already. Okay. I think the only reason day two worked is because day one was a disaster and deterred people away. And even with that, the Dave and Tim setup, to me, I was at the, like, it was still hard. It was so many people. So I think that wasn't cool. I really thought that could have been improved. The parking situation is always going to be rough, but I think parking in some ways it was overly expensive. This whole weekend was the single day purchase price. So if you look at a 4 day pass to Boston College, or if you decide to do a 1 day GA only pass, they were cheaper for Boston College than they were for Sound on Sound. And Boston is a world class city. Bridgeport is not. Okay, Bridgeport is Bridgeport. Okay.
Bruh.
Okay. So that's kind of discouraging. And the frustrating thing about this whole thing is the same people that ran Governor's Ball ran this festival. I believe that they were planning this festival before the pandemic. The pandemic brought prices up by the time they were really in the final stages of paying for things. And they cut corners. They tried to get more money from fans, more wristbands, and they did less to keep the quality. They were very frugal. You could see that with this festival. And the people who were trained, they weren't really trained that well. They seemed like it was their first year or first week in security. And that's not a good sign when you don't have leadership or experience for this type of festival. So I appreciate you guys for staying up, man. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. Let us sleep outside tonight, like perfectly. No, it's too cold. It's cold, man. It's cold. Man. I'll see what the weather's like. But I think that there needs to be a refund. I will have a full video on this. I believe that people should get refunds, especially if they left early. And you could tell because they do scan the tick. You had to scan your wristband, you put it over something. But the festival overall, I enjoyed exploring the bands. I just think like that the headliner type of thing at a festival is not for me because I'd rather pay the money to get a good seat in the mid pavilion or the upper lower pavilion than be in the lawn and hear people talking and yelling. And oh my gosh, it's my birthday! Like shut up. We don't want to hear you. We don't want to hear you. And there needs to be an investigation on people who talk during shows. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just but again, I think overall I loved this day just to kind of experience just a bunch of different arcs that I've been meaning to cross off or meaning to revisit as in Brandy Carlisle and Head in the Heart. and cross off Gary Clark Jr., the National, right? And see again the Roots. I had just seen the Roots the Thursday before SPAC weekend, and it was phenomenal. And they did a great job. I will say this: the Roots, what made them great, and what also makes them like their main shows are like this. And I wish they had more of a focus in their main shows. As a fan of the Roots, where you can get actual songs, they just had a block party jam session. That's all the Roots did. And Black Thought is one of the best hip hop lyricists and most consistent hip hop lyricists across various decades. He did his thing, and they had these stops, and the drums were coordinated, and all this stuff to the entertainment that they put together. So the Roots were good for the festival, and they really just had more of a jam session. They did interpolations of classic funk and R&B and soul music, but it just was it was so great. It was so great to see the Roots really have that like. I just wish for their main shows that they had a little more focus in songs. But for this crowd, they loved the Roots, and that was great. What else was there? I don't know. I think that's really it. Hines, we're gonna close out with Gary Clark Jr. I'll tell you that. You guys will be able to see what I saw. But yeah, I just to me, Dave and Tim belong the most if it was like a standalone show. But listen, I'll take this. I said I have this thing where I want to go all the Connecticut shows, even Dave and Tim. I came, I saw Concord. Things were much better than they were on Saturday. And but Sound on Sound has some reckoning. Stay tuned for more information on this. I will have a video up in the near future. Brandy Carlisle sounds great. I love her sets. I love her appreciation and interaction with the fans. It was great. It was great. Gary Clark Jr. I mean, he's got that voice. He's got that personality. He got that swag. Right. He did not disappoint, and his band was great. The National was cool. They definitely the National feels like a festival band. They know how to. It's like they're not going to go on like this large scale sold out arena tour. Now they may have your local theater filled up, but they really feel the National feels like a set list, like a festival set list type band. And this was the last show of the year. They're not doing any sort of winter tour. Let's close it out with Gary Clark. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's again extremely late, and to those of you watching the next morning, thank you for that as well. More to come on Sound, but I believe they should give a partial refund. Not really for me. I feel like I used what was. I mean, it was expensive, but for other fans, they need to have that, and that'll lessen the blow. I know this comes down to money, in my opinion. I think they were just cheap, but you gotta do better. You gotta be better. And I know it's the first year like Railbird, but they have experience doing this. Perhaps they should have did more research. And fans warned them. If someone in the community added me on something, Facebook or Twitter, and said I warned them, and they looked at me like I was crazy and didn't take me for face value. So they need to listen to locals. They need to show locals this because that's really what it takes. Just get a focus group of people from Connecticut or focus groups plural, and really see how people are going to react. But the ball was dropped for this. I hope that they can people who if you're watching this and you were scarred by this experience, I understand it. Like this was a horrible thing, but I do hope you do come back to Connecticut for other purposes, other box offices, other venues. Because one thing Connecticut does great is concerts outside of this horrible festival planning and all that. But that's really all I got. And there's not much more I could say. I'm gonna go to Gary Clark Jr. Let's see if that is up. Bright Lights is up. Oh, it's still not up. Bright lights in the city. Oh, because my phone has like 50 million things. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Channel. I thought I had this uploaded. Hmm. Oh well, I have to do it another time. Let's see. Is it on my Apple? I thought I had it. Sorry, guys. I thought I had uploaded this Gary Clark Jr. Maybe it got interrupted. All right, we'll use it for something else. Um, there's the poster. Hey, let's get some more Conservist 34 poems. Get you guys some of it. Will end on this. ONEALM. Thank you guys for the support. Hit the like line. Hit the like button, not the like line. Oh, I need to get some sleep. Mark Andrews, thank you for coming in. We need Line in Hands of God. I would have loved that tonight. I think it's amazing. Dave and Tim and Full Band. Shoreline, California was an amazing show. It's it's crazy. Like our buddy, if you look back at some of my other streams, uh, one of the Hollywood Bowl interviewees said it was so high energy that the Hollywood Bowl seemed like a whole step, like drop off a cliff, energy wise, because Shoreline was so lit. Shoreline had a great poster. Shoreline was a great show. And again, this is a guy who's Mile High Dad, aka Shane Whitford. He's someone who's been across the country this tour. Been in the Eastern time zone. He's been in the Mountain time zone and the Pacific time zone. I think he did 10 shows this year. And he thought that Shoreline show just stood out to him as just great high energy. So you're absolutely right, Mark. McAndrews, thank you for watching. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the Conserviz 34 post show stream. Shout out to, I can't remember dude's name. He said, yeah, he's like Conserviz. I think he said Conserviz 14. It's all good though. It's all good. Hey, Conserviz 34. But anyway, no, someone saw me. Yo, man, I love your videos. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the support. I do not take it for granted. Um, Let me just pull up. SoundCloud. Okay. Oh. All right, we're gonna close out on this one. This poem. I wrote this poem. Well, now I'm in my 30s, but this was called 20 something. So we're gonna close out the show on your boy Conserviz 34, 20 something. SoundCloud is ONEALM. O'Neal M. All right, let's play this.
I'm a 20 something, and I feel like I'm down in the first quarter, 20 to nothing. BuzzFeed articles help me to reminisce over the innocence of 15 things from the 90s that we will never see again. My life is a series of stumbled upon links, organized chaos, and I'm starting to think I have no idea what I'm actually doing. I mean, this is kind of getting scary. Everyone's either moving out of state or getting married. I fumbled the first long-term relationship I ever carried. I guess I had that coming next. Years after making fun of how every other Taylor Swift song is about an ex. I feel like the Yankees in the 2004 ALCS. Karma came back and beat me in Game 7. I was so mad that year when the Red Sox won. But nothing can compare to losing to the Diamondbacks in 2001. My dad let me stay up late, which was great. 1 month after the 9/11 attacks, combined with an awesome Game 6 comeback. Then smack up the middle by Luis Gonzalez had me close to tears. Years later, that loss still stings, and the heartbreaker bings is like being a 20-something. Down in the first quarter, 20 to nothing. I'm looking for something. I'm living fast, but I'm trying to trespass through the difficult course of my life. Now, Billy Joel, you're my boy, that's how I'll always be. But you're trying to tell me Vienna is gonna wait for me? I don't have time to wait and see. So after the coach called a timeout, I got my head back in the game. Started grabbing rebounds, which led to moving the ball on the offensive side. You see, life is not a free ride, so I'm gonna earn my way. Cause I'm a 20-something, down in the first quarter, 20 to nothing.